Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Personal Mastery Training. Our entire philosophy here is built on a radical idea. It's this. In order to achieve mastery, we should not just simply get through challenges and through life, but instead we must strategically seek to get from our challenges, which life will throw us many of them. On that light, or in that light, today we're dissecting the toughest challenge of all, and it's the one that's absolutely inevitable. We're going to call this one Mastering the Winters of Life. We understand the seasons of nature perfectly. Spring, spring is about growth, summer is about harvest, and autumn is a beautiful decay and letting go. But then there's a fourth season, winter. Winter shows up in our personal lives for many of us, and it often leads us to panic. Those days of winter can be short lasting or they seem to last forever. The winter of life is not always cold outside, it's cold inside sometimes. It's a season of unexpected layoffs, financial downturns, you're going through it, health setbacks, profound loss, or a deep and nagging creative block from getting something completed. It's that time when the lights dim, the external noise goes quiet, and we're forced into a period of deep introspection. And if some of you know my story, or you just listeners, new listeners, I've been through this year. 2025 has been some deep winters for me. I lost my son earlier this year to cancer, and now I lost one of our co-hosts here on the Alliance, Dr. Charlie Cartwright. I lost him also to a stroke and to, I hear, cancer as well. The questions around his passing is there's a lot of questions left and a lot of things I have to unpack. And so, but as of right now, it doesn't really matter. It's just that I've lost a very good friend and partner. So I'm in that deep winter, and this is the motivation to share this podcast right now. The winters of life, like the seasons, they come in their certain phases. And this is one I want to dissect a little bit. And I owe this one to one of my mentors. Wasn't my personal mentor, but he's my mentor from afar, Mr. Jim Rohn, an unbelievable speaker and modern day philosopher. And he spoke to this winters of life, and I want to share it with you. I want to share my version of it and break it down for you. The primary source of suffering during the seasons, this season, winter, comes from the narratives we cling to. We are culturally conditioned to believe we should always be in summer mode. Everyone's having a good time, especially today with social media. We look at somebody's life and we compare ourselves to them, and we think we're missing out. This is where that term FOMO comes from, fear of missing out. We think we should always be growing, always achieving, always producing a visible harvest. That's the summer mode. We think we should always be in summer mode. And the problem is when winter hits, the unhelpful inner voice screams, I should have figured this out already. Why am I getting why shouldn't I be positive about this? Why am I feel like I'm a failure? Because I'm not producing visible results. We desperately try to manufacture a summer feeling, some of us. We fill our calendars, we distract ourselves, we double down on external effort. All the while, our environment is telling us to stop. Now, your winter doesn't have to be as extreme as mine, and no one ever dreams or wishes or hopes or even imagine that they would be the one giving the eulogy for their child. But these are the winter months, and I love this other wisdom. Now, remember, when you hear me share quotes on here, I don't call them quotes. Quotes are lightweight, and we tend to just shrug them off and say them and move on. But I call them wisdoms because when you think about a quote, it's a summary of someone's experience and they put into something short and sweet that they could just share. Here's the one I want to share in this case. We won't rise to the occasion when something happens. And it's not a matter if, it's when. But we'll fall to a level of preparation. See, for us, my family, myself, I am going to say we're doing an unbelievable, incredible job that I didn't think we would ever do this well in the sight of this. But my son was so brave when he went through this that it gave us the strength to turn his pain into purpose. So we are falling to a level of preparation. We've been through many winters in our lives. And I think my wife and I were just talking about this on the drive home, and I think all those winters have prepared us for this deep, dark winter we're in right now and enabling us to rise above it. So, winters, what's your winter? Is it again the financial winter? Are you into mental winter, spiritual winter, relationship winter? What winter are you in right now? Are you an existential winter where you can't figure out where you should be in your life, what you should be doing? You're lost. What's your winter? This is what we're going to discuss. So they come in order. So let's talk about the purpose of winter. If we want to get from our winter challenge, we must first accept the purpose of winter. Winter is not about a punishment, it is a vital, non negotiable phase of necessary preparation. It's a phase of life. As we talk about the seasons, we all have seasons in our lives. They don't last for a long time. Some seem deeper, darker, and may go a little bit longer than the others. But each season teaches us something in it. Think about a seed. It can't grow until it's broken open in the dark, cold ground. The deep transformative work of life happens in the dark. This is where, when you're in that dark space, that challenging time, this is where we go deep. This is where we start to look at our lives. When things are going great this summer, there's no reason to stop and look at our lives and go deep into it because we're enjoying life. And so we should. It's at summertime. Spring, same thing. Autumn. But that winter, that's there to make us go deep and introspect on where we are from here. Where are we going? From a practical standpoint, the winter of life is a time for strategic stillness. In business, this is where you cut the dead branches, where you start to get rid of what doesn't matter, consolidate resources, and refine your core value proposition. The win isn't doing, it's in focused refinement. Emotionally, winter is not a time for chasing happiness. It's a time for meaning, true deep meaning. The cold forces us to shed the superficial, the busy schedule, the chasing of external validation, and confront what truly matters. We ask, what pain do I need to process? What foundational belief about myself is finally dying off so something stronger can take its place? I know going through this time now, again, my son and a few other friends, and I have a friend right now who's deep in his winter, he's also struggling with cancer. This time has really gotten me to think about essentialism, this practice of it. What's essential in my life? What do I need to declutter? What do I need to get rid of? What do I need to become brutally non negotiable about saying yes to? And I've been doing that. I've been really cutting the excess branches, only saying yes to the great things that'll move me forward. This is what this winter has done for me. It's caused me to really look at realizing that time is my best asset. The only thing that matters is your health, time, and what are you doing with it? So, if we're going to shift from stagnation to intentionality, what do we do with this stillness without falling paralyzing into paralyzing stagnation? Because the dark can really pull you in. For instance, when I'm going through this with my son, if I start personalizing it and saying, "My son, what me, why did it do this to me?" It will really take me down that deep dark hole. People are saying, "Alvin, you should really take some time to mourn," and I am, I am, I am in that grief cycle. But the way I grieve is to be of service, is to use the pain and turn it into a purpose. I just finished a bodybuilding contest just recently. And the goal was I wanted to take not just me going to the stage, but I took 35 people with me on this journey to change their lives, to get them off the couch, to get them moving. And they supported me through it, and the community came together. It was a beautiful experience. So I turned my pain to purpose. We raised money. Right now, as of this time, since my son passed, we've raised my family and I all together $65,000 on our way to build a foundation for my son. So how do you handle this stillness without falling into paralyzing stagnation? The answer is intentionality. Stagnation is characterized by avoidance, distraction, self pity. You're numb to the cold, trying to escape it. I could do that. I could have chosen that path. I actually, when we are going through it, I thought if something happened to my son, I would just go off the grid and call it a day and go zero dark 30 for a while. But my son wouldn't want that. He wanted his name to be used to help others. So we said, okay, let's put this, instead of going deep dark, let's go into action. Productive stillness. The kind required for mastery is characterized by a radical acceptance and deep journaling or reflection. You're feeling cold, but you're actively using the quiet time for internal work. My personal mastery training recommendation here is to set a winter intention. This intention is not to achieve an outcome, but to learn a foundational skill. For example, my intention for this winter is to learn to sit with discomfort, sit with the pain, the loss, without seeking an immediate destructive escape. Again, turning pain into purpose. Let's talk about the power of protective habits. We also need to change our habits. In the summer of life, our habits are focused on output and action. In the winter, our habits must pivot to focus on input and protection. Protection of your time, protection of your energy, protection of your mindset. This means non negotiable rest, deeper sleep, which is something I've been focusing on. Before, in the summer, in spring, I was going. Nutrition dense food, really nourishing the body. Put your mask on first. Reading or learning skills that no one else sees right now. You're literally stocking the internal pantry for the coming spring, because this too shall pass. We'll never be the same after my son, but we're going to carry his name on forever, as long as I'm here. The toxic narrative you must replace is, I'm too busy to rest. Replace it with, rest is my most productive activity right now. It's an act of proactive self mastery. So let's talk about the ultimate gift of winter. If we leverage this season correctly, what is the single most valuable thing we must get from winter that we could never get from summer? First, you gain unshakable resilience. I don't think anything else. Well, I don't want to challenge it, but this time has really caused us to go deep. We've had a few winters. Lost my niece, cerebral palsy, when she was only 15 years old, give or take. My mother-in-law passed and from dementia not too long ago, 2 3 years ago. Again, this year's been incredible. My friend, my son, another friend, not as close as Dr. Charlie Cartwright, but still A really great human, Richard. Shout out to your family, the Woodsides. And now my friend Marlon, he's going through it. So I'm learning to get from it and not through it. I'm going to honor them and be strong and keep going. So here's the difference. Summer only teaches you how to enjoy the harvest. Winter teaches you that you can survive when the field is barren, that your worth is not tied to your external productivity, and that you have internal fortitude to endure until the light inevitably returns. Something I talked about on a podcast long ago, that it's always darkest before the dawn. And this is another wisdom that was left behind. It never stays dark forever if you just hang on. It's always darkest. I remember, if you think about around December 21st, they say that's the darkest day, the the shortest in daylight. I think we in here in Canada we have nighttime around 4:30. It gets dark, and December 22nd, 23rd, 20, it keeps on going. It gets lighter and lighter, but it's always darkest before it starts to turn up in our life. Here's the second thing you gain. You gain profound self intimacy. In the quiet of winter, you finally get to hear your own authentic voice. Trust me, right now, I tell you, I am ridiculous about what matters to me now. Getting more zero focus. Time and life just seems so fleeting and short that I don't want to waste any more time with people, things, activities that don't move me forward, or don't I can't lend to it and it can't lend to me. But it took the winter to do that. I've been thinking about this forever, but now my winter has caused me to do that. You get to hear your authentic voice, you face your deepest fears, and plant the foundational internal seeds for a future that is truly aligned with who you are and not who the world expects you to be. This is the power of that. The winter of life is not a time to be endured, but a time to be utilized. So if you're going through it right now, this too shall pass. It will pass. But don't endure it. Utilize it. Learn from it. Get something from it. Let the pain change you. It's the incubator of your greatest future self. Assess the narrative that keeps you stuck. Question the pressure to perform and commit to the necessary and noble work of rest, sleep, deep reflection in order to move forward. As I said, I was the type who would go to bed late, get up early, push, push, push. Now with what's going on in my life, I really want to step back and get quality. Step back to move forward. When you do all this, you will not just get through the winter, you'll grow from it. All right. So I hope someone out there who's going through a winter right now, this serves them. Whatever you're going through right now, that's your deepest winter. Maybe it's not even your deepest, because I thought, having financial challenges and business struggles and, finding my own pathway were some winters, when the bank account's low and you're struggling a little bit here and there. Your career isn't exactly where you want it to be. You want more. You think those are the struggles. They're not. There's levels to struggle and winters. And this is my winter. I mean, it could get worse, but this is good. This is good. I'm good. This has forced me to really go deep, and it's built my resiliency muscle. So, if you know someone who this information would really resonate with them, let's build this group. Let's build this community, and yeah, let's rise together. All right. Until we talk again next time. Don't get through it. Get from it. And Dr. Charlie Cartwright, one love, brother. One love. My son, you know, it's nothing but love. And this is pain into purpose. Until next time, my people, as we always say at the end of the podcast, peace. I wish you peace. I send you love with a sprinkle of soul. All right. Hope this nurtures your soul. All right, like, subscribe, share. Peace and love. I'm out.